How could the one person I trusted more than anyone in the world do this to me? I'm staring at a grainy image on my laptop screen, my heart hammering against my ribs like it's trying to escape. The air in this sterile Chicago hotel room feels thin, suffocating. I can see our bedroom, the one we painted together, the quilt my grandmother made us for our wedding, and on that quilt, my wife Sarah with him. The scene replays in my mind, a vicious, unending loop. But this single image isn't the whole story. It's just the beginning of theirs and the end of mine, or so I thought. If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel, tell us where you're from, and what time it is right now. It's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. It started subtly. A few months ago, I walked into a cafe to surprise Sarah for lunch, found her laughing with Mark, a guy from her office. The way she was leaning in, the way her eyes sparkled. It sent a cold spike of unease through me. When she saw me, her smile faltered for just a second. "Alex, honey." "This is Mark, from work." Mark's handshake was firm, his smile a little too smug. I felt like an interruption, an unwelcome guest in my own life. That day, something shifted. It was like watching a familiar landscape through a distorted lens. After that, the late nights at the office became more frequent. The texts I'd glimpse on her phone screen were always quickly hidden with a nervous laugh. "Oh, it's just work stuff. You wouldn't be interested." She started criticizing me. My clothes weren't stylish enough. My jokes weren't funny anymore, and the way I chewed my food suddenly drove her insane. I was walking on eggshells in my own home, trying to be the man she wanted, but the goalposts kept moving. Each criticism was a small cut, bleeding me of my confidence, making me feel small and inadequate. The coldness came next. It was a slow, creeping frost that settled over our marriage. She'd roll over in bed when I tried to touch her. Our conversations became purely functional. "Did you pay the electric bill? We're out of milk?" The warmth that had defined our 10 years together vanished, replaced by a polite, chilling indifference. I'd try to talk to her, to ask what was wrong, but she'd shut me down. "I'm just tired, Alex. Stressed." She made me feel like I was the problem, like my need for affection was a burden. Meanwhile, they grew bolder. One evening, I came home early and heard them laughing in the living room. As I opened the door, the laughter died instantly. Mark was there, a bottle of our best wine on the coffee table. "Mark was just helping me with a presentation," Sarah said, not meeting my eyes. Mark stood up all confident swagger. "Yeah, big project. You know how it is." They acted like they owned the place, like I was the one who was out of line for being there. They weren't just having an affair, they were building a new life right on top of mine, and they thought I was too stupid to notice. The breaking point came a week before my business trip to Milwaukee. I found a receipt in her coat pocket. Dinner for two at a ridiculously expensive restaurant. It was paid for on a Tuesday night when she was supposedly at a team-building yoga class. The lie was so blatant, so disrespectful. I went into the bathroom and just stared at my reflection. The man looking back at me was a ghost hollowed out, tired and utterly defeated. I sat on the cold tile floor, the receipt crumpled in my fist, and for the first time in our marriage, I let myself truly break.
Ow.
The sobs were silent, wrenching my body apart. The love I had for her curdled into something else, something cold and hard and sharp. The heartbreak was gone. In its place, something far more dangerous began to grow. My business trip was a lie. I told Sarah I'd be gone for a week. The day I left, I drove to a hotel near the airport, my mind a storm of cold calculation. I had spent the last few days buying equipment. Tiny cameras, no bigger than a shirt button. I placed one in the smoke detector in our bedroom, another in a digital clock on the bookshelf in the living room. They had their own power and streamed directly to a secure server. As I drove away from our house, I didn't feel sadness. I felt a chilling sense of purpose. It was time to gather the proof. It was time for them to stop feeling so untouchable. For 5 days, I sat in that hotel room and watched my life implode in high definition. I watched them drink my whiskey, eat the food I bought, and sleep in my bed. I listened to them mock me. "He's so clueless." Sarah laughed one night, her head on Mark's chest. "He actually believes I'm stressed from work." Mark kissed her forehead. "Don't worry, babe. Once his little trip is done, we'll figure out how to get him out of the picture for good." They talked about our finances, my savings, the house. They weren't just cheating. They were planning a heist. They were going to take everything from me. Every word they spoke was another nail in their own coffin. I saved every second of footage. With the evidence secured, I began setting the traps. I contacted a pit bull of a divorce lawyer, a woman known for leaving her opponents with nothing but the clothes on their back. I showed her the videos. Her eyes widened. "It's Mr. Miller," she said with a grim smile. "This is what we call a slam dunk." I followed her instructions precisely. I quietly moved all our joint savings into a new account in my name, only perfectly legal in our state, with proof of marital misconduct and dissipation of assets. I contacted Sarah's parents and my own, scheduling a family meeting for the day after I was supposed to return, telling them I had an important announcement. The biggest trap, however, was for Mark. I did some digging. He was up for a major promotion at his company, a family-run firm with a strict morality clause. I found the CEO's email address. The day of my return, I walked into the house. It was clean, almost sterile. Sarah greeted me with a hug that felt like a performance. "I missed you so much," she lied. "How was Milwaukee?" "Productive," I said, my voice even. That evening, our families gathered in the living room. Sarah was beaming, thinking this was about some good news from my trip. I stood before them, my heart a block of ice. "Thank you all for coming," I began. "I have something to show you." I connected my laptop to the big screen TV. Sarah's smile faltered. "Alex, what is this?" I didn't answer. I just pressed play. The first clip was of them on the couch, mocking me. The room fell silent. Sarah's face went white. Her father stood up, his face a mask of fury. My mother started to cry. I let it play, the audio of them planning to take my money, the video of them in my bed. Sarah started screaming at me to stop it, but no one was listening to her. They were all just staring at the screen, at her betrayal and horrified silence. At the same time, an anonymous email was being delivered to Mark's CEO, containing a highlight reel of his activities and a link to the full cloud storage. By the time he got the panicked call from Sarah, his career was already over. I served her with divorce papers right there, in front of everyone. The humiliation was absolute. She was ruined socially, financially, and legally. Weeks later, the divorce was finalized. She got nothing. Her family disowned her. Mark was fired and became a pariah. I sold the house and moved out of Chicago, away from the ghosts. I kept nothing that reminded me of her, except for one thing: a single printed photo from the hidden camera, the first one I ever saw. I don't look at it to feel the pain. I look at it to remember what people are capable of, and to remember what I became to survive it. Some nights I still wake up thinking I can hear them laughing. The end.